guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I hope this video finds each and every one of you guys doing well today. Today, I'm welcoming back OG Pro on the channel, CMcHugh. He's back, guys. He's representing Cloud9 in CRL North America. Can't wait to see him in action. Certainly one of the best players in the world. You know what? The last few days, the last couple weeks actually, rightfully so, I've been getting a lot of comments. Ash, dude, it's meta deck after meta deck after meta deck here on CWA. Where's the off-meta stuff, man? Well, today I'll finally start delivering on that promise. I think that the way we're going to kind of move in the future here on CWA Mobile Gaming is, since we're going to be getting monthly balance changes, I want to go ahead and share meta stuff towards the beginning of the month. Towards the middle of the month, we'll do off-meta stuff. Towards the end of the month, we'll cover the top ladder players and the decks that they're using. It's not going to be like every day it's going to be only that content, but that's just going to be kind of the trajectory that we use in terms of what decks that we share here on the channel, because it makes the most sense to share the actual kind of proven new meta decks as identified by pros and really good players early on in the month. Anyway, with that out of the way, you can see I hopped into a ladder match right off the way when I started recording this video, and my opponent actually uses a poison against my Ewiz here in the right lane. Well, that frees me up beautifully to use a graveyard in the opposite lane. Now, the thing about this deck is it's really fun to play, first of all. It has graveyard, it has Giant Skeleton, which still is like the OG push stopper in the game, meaning that you can put him in a lane and forget about it. Everything behind that tank or everything coming down is going to die to the Giant Skeleton. So it's still a really fun deck to use, and oftentimes the Giant Skeleton just catches your opponents off guard. The thing about this deck is it doesn't have that Goblin Hut, it doesn't have that Tombstone, it doesn't have Rascals, so there's no big obvious poison bait to the deck. That's why me personally, I prefer playing this deck on ladder where there's less poison going around and way more fireball. The deck is way better on ladder in my opinion. And if you don't have a high level Ewiz, you can go ahead and sub in any of those cards that we talked about that would make good poison bait and are also good on defense. The obvious one being the Musketeer, but you could also get kind of crazy here and use Zappies or Flying Machine, something that dies to poison that is going to get it out of your opponent's hands. You could also sub in that Tombstone or that Goblin Hut in that spot. So I can't wait to show you guys CMcHugh's gameplay here, but let's finish off mine. And again, guys, I was at home when I was recording this, so I wasn't able to do actually the narration. So I played this live before I recorded, but obviously I'm commentating on it after the fact right now with you guys. I try not to do that, but yet last night I just wanted to get these replays down and recorded before who knows what Supercell's going to do with these maintenance breaks lately. There's a lot of bugs in the game, and there's a lot of fixes coming, so I wanted to make sure I had the actual gameplay from CMcHugh. So here you can see, I mean, this is going pretty well, and I'm top, I want to say top 3,000-ish. I'm pretty high in trophies right now. Using that Golem Wizard deck still, I love that deck, guys. Been trying to find a 3 Musketeer deck, can't find a great one, but I think I found a pro who has one, but we'll stay tuned for that. Anyway, guys, you can see I have barely taken any tower damage here. This is a really easier matchup for me. I think that this deck, the one cool thing about it is, although it's not a tier 1 deck in the game, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm not trying to fool anybody with this video. It's off-meta, meaning that, what are off-meta decks, guys? Off-meta decks are usually decks that aren't the best in the game, but can catch your opponent by surprise and be really fun to play and change things up for you guys. So it's definitely an effective deck, and as I said, towards the end of the tournament, we watched CMcHugh live on stream throughout these matches, and he was just dominating. He would have finished first overall had he not lost one match towards the very end of the tournament, dropping him down to 7th, I believe. But either way, let's go ahead and hop into CMcHugh's replays, because he played this deck just brilliantly throughout this tournament. Let's go ahead and start by showing this against Bridge Spam. Why not, right? And this is a deck with Fireball, but every other replay that I show you guys will be with Poison. That way, obviously, Poison much trickier to go against than Fireball. All against pretty good players. Also, all against, geez, Ash, that's a mouthful, dude. All right, here we go. It's going to be a Mega Minion behind the King Tower to start out for CMcHugh here. The opponent comes at him with some Bridge Spam, starting out with with that battle ram right in the right lane. Giant Skeleton's actually going to do a good job preventing that battle ram from making contact. However, one of those barbarians does lock onto our right tower. So now we have suddenly a Giant Skeleton, an Ice Golem, and a Mega Minion all coming down the right lane. We have a huge elixir advantage as well. Dark Prince put on that Giant Skeleton. Mega Minion and Giant Skeleton's going to finish him off. But guess what, guys? The opponent has no elixir left to play the Ice Golem to distract that Giant Skeleton away from the tower. And thank you. That's 1,000 damage or so off that tower. We'll take it, and then the bandit dies. So right off the bat here, I said he was dominating with this deck. I'm not joking around, guys. Every match seemed like this. In the first minute or so, the opponent would make some sort of a mistake, and he would absolutely make them pay. In this tournament, it was chock full of pro players. We had like over 20 pro players, over 20 game winners. Jeez, it's another mouthful for you guys. And he did really, really well. He beat Music Master as well, but he used a different version of the deck that I want to kind of stick to this version because this is his favorite. So anyway, guys, here we go. It's going to be an Inferno Dragon coming down the right lane. Meanwhile, some spam coming in the left lane. We're going to have to counter that with a Giant Skeleton on the Dark Prince and then the guards on that Battle Ram. By the way, guys, just a quick little preamble before we go into double elixir time. I had an idea about content on the channel. I want your feedback. I was thinking that we could do a week straight of top 5 decks. Before you say that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, I think it'd be fun to pick a win condition every day. And then I could either use like the straight up win rates according to statsroyale.com, or I can pick pros, a panel of pros, to rank the top 5 giant decks, rank the top 5 graveyard decks, rank the top 5 Sparky decks, whatever you guys want to see, and I can let you guys decide the archetypes. And we could do a week straight of top 5. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I read the comments. Every comment in the first hour I respond to, so guys, let me know. I really appreciate the feedback. So here we go, guys. A very aggressive Giant Skeleton in the pocket there and a graveyard. So he saves that Ewiz on defense, saves his left tower, and takes a ton of HP off the opponent's left tower. And poor Dorian here has seen his better days as CMcHugh goes ahead and capitalizes off that aggressive pocket push there, takes down that left tower. Meanwhile, only 10 seconds or so left in this match. All he has to do is defend, and there's no way the opponent is going to make a comeback here. On the next match, let's look at a more difficult matchup here against a player with poison and basically answers for everything that CMcHugh has in this deck. A really, really good player too. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. It was at the top here. It's Raze from Star Alliance. Now, Raze is a really good player. You've probably seen him on top ladder. He finished 12th in the world, his best season, 20-game winner, just a really, really solid player. He was also playing a Giant Skeleton Hog XC NATO deck. It's a really strong deck, the deck that Raze was playing, and when you look at the two decks, I would actually give Raze the advantage in this matchup because CMcHugh for the Hog, we have Ewiz. But remember, he does have Hog, NATO, and Poison as well. He has a lot of answers in Executioner and Valkyrie to add insult to injury for the graveyard. So how the heck is CMcHugh going to get around a Valkyrie and a Poison on defense? It's going to be very difficult, but he somehow gets the job done. This is an exciting match, and it goes way into overtime, so pay attention, guys. So here we go. It's a Giant Skeleton running into a Giant Skeleton. How often do you see that, guys? Not too often. Meanwhile, Executioner in the right lane comes to the tower unchecked, so CMcHugh is going to go ahead and send in that log, holding him down to only 2 swings against that right tower. Meanwhile, we take the left tower down to 1858 HP, so not too bad. And again, Giant Skeleton's like staying alive forever. Like this is the Giant Skeleton who just refuses to die here. Even to the log, he's still alive. Oh, and then he's gonna come down and hang out with the Hog Rider, but eventually he will die right there from that tower hit. But that Giant Skeleton, he lived a long time since the beginning of the match. I kind of like when you see a big unit like that just kited all around the map into the opposite lane, down back to where he came from. Either way, the guards actually do a lot of damage against that Valkyrie before she dies, does not make contact or anywhere near contact with the tower. So CMcHugh is going to go ahead and send in that Mega Minion as kind of a pseudo tank for the graveyard. You just want to make sure that you can get any sort of a tank unit, ideally Giant Skeleton or Ice Golem. But hey, if you don't have the Giant Skeleton or the Ice Golem in cycle and you're going against an opponent who you know you have the elixir advantage against, go ahead. play that Mega Minion to tank for the graveyard there. In that circumstance, you're not going to get a lot of damage if they have poison, but, you know, slowly but surely, the RNG of those skeletons spawned by the graveyard will take that tower down. So here we go, guys. It's going to be a Giant Skeleton coming down the right lane. Guards are going to help out here. Giant Skeleton, no way he's going to come anywhere near the reach of that right tower for Raze. And again, here comes the poison down by the opponent. The poison down also by CMcHugh here, taking poison value wherever he can find it, because he knows this is going to be a long, a grueling, a grinding match here, guys. And sending in the log again, log value. All he has to do is make sure he saves 7 elixir for defense against the Hog Rider, because there's no way, even with the NATO, that the Hog is going to get by an Ewiz and the guard. So CMcHugh does a really good job here identifying what he needs to stop his opponent's push, and then making sure he always has Ewiz, guards, and even logs sometimes for that defense of that Hog Rider. And speaking of defense here, Giant Skeleton Bomb gonna do some work taking down that Executioner. Meanwhile, we have a pretty good damage lead here, 821, despite, again, the Valkyrie and the poison of the opponent. Now, Raze is making sure that he saves poison for every single time that CMcHugh plays his graveyard. So he's not even needing that Valkyrie. Instead, he's trying to use the Valkyrie to tank for the Hog Rider to get some elixir, or excuse me, to get some value against those guards. So this time we use the guards in the left lane, and we go ahead and combo it with another graveyard. Notice the graveyard, how it's way pushed to the left of the Princess Tower there, guys. That's because those skeletons that spawn to the right, to our right, of that Princess Tower have a better chance of hitting, spawning directly on the Princess Tower, getting a couple little stabs in, or whatever those skeletons do, before, and getting that lucky RNG before the poison, the tick of the poison can take them down. Now, unfortunately, we do take a hog hit there onto our right tower, so all of a sudden, just like that, things are back to really neck and neck in this battle here of two really good players going head to head. So this Valkyrie does make contact on the left tower. Meanwhile, Hog comes down on the right. Despite the NATO, they're able to do a good job. Mega Minion, Ewiz, and the guards. Raze can't believe it. He drops a wow there. Meanwhile, Valkyrie getting a lot of damage on that left tower, but CMcHugh doesn't care. He's going to go in again with that graveyard. And you can see, guys, the graveyard slowly but surely chipping away. Just, you know, 100 HP by 100 HP and another 100 HP. He does take another hog swing there, unfortunately, in the right lane. But all he needs is the poison here to finish off that left tower. And bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. Sound like Enchantin' up in here. What's up, Enchantin'? How you doing, man? What does he say all the time? What is it? For those of you who don't watch him, he's a great streamer and chat, and great friend, a great guy. But what does he say? He's like, thank you. What is his saying? Damn it, I can't think of it. Oh man, it's not like thank you very much, and it's not bada bing, bada bang. I forget what it is. I'm gonna remember as soon as I stop this video. Either way, here we go. Next match, guys, against Juxin from, oh god, Veja Guardia. And here it comes. It's going to be a Giant Skeleton going into the Giant. Then he's going to kite using the Ice Golem. The beautiful thing about having Ice Golem and Giant Skeleton, especially against these Giant Double Prince matchups, these Goizen matchups, is being able to kite and still have that big, fat, thick Giant Skeleton in the same lane that you want him to be in. So here it comes, guys. The opponent, I promise you all these replays would have poison. This guy does too, but he uses it again on defense. Ewiz, surprisingly, the Ewiz is a great poison bait, especially when you're using him on defense and they're going in with a big giant push. They don't want to deal with the guards or with the Ewiz, so they get aggressive with their poisons, and then it frees you up to go ahead and use the graveyard here. This time he doesn't even use a zap. He uses nothing against these guards, and the guards are able to DPS that giant down. Now, of course, we did take a lot of damage due to those few giant swings on the left tower, but we have a nice little elixir lead here. We're looking pretty good, and once we get into double elixir time, CMcHugh is going to be able to punish the opponent even more aggressively here. So let's see how he plays this. So we're sitting at 8-9 elixir here. We're going to play a Giant Skeleton in the left lane, I think. Yeah, where is he? Where is he? There he is. Okay, we're going to stop that Ice Spirit. There's a Giant Skeleton in front of the left Princess Tower. Here comes Giant Skeleton down the lane. And there's the aggressive Prince by the opponent. So 5 Elixir, we're going to counter it for 5 Elixir. He will get a stab in, but I don't think it was coming off a charge there. So taking a little bit of incidental damage on the right lane is really not a big deal. I mean, honestly, we can take up to 1,000 damage off that right tower and still be okay. All we need to do is execute one giant push, and this is one of those decks where you can win in one giant push. So here we go, another aggressive poison by the opponent. Do not do that. Do not do that against this deck, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to free us up to go ahead in with another aggressive graveyard and poison on our end. And look at that. We take his tower all the way down to 695. That's all because he overcommitted with a poison against the Ewiz again on defense, guys. So we're going to give him another Ewiz, and he makes the mistake again. Of course, you guys could argue maybe it's not a mistake. Maybe he's just going for that one giant push himself, but clearly it ends up being the wrong decision because, again, the opponent here, you can almost read his mind, guys. He's thinking, you know what? I have an Ewiz, I have a Dark Prince, I can defend without poison on defense. But if you're going against Graveyard, guys, you're way better off just using your poison on defense every time, kind of like how we saw Raze do in the previous matchup. And now with one more graveyard or poison, that left tower is going to be down. The opponent opts not even to use the poison, he uses Zap, and he loses the tower. So guys, another fun off-meta deck. Again, is it the strongest deck in the world? No. Is it fun to play? Yes. Can you have success with it? Yes. So guys, I'll include CMcHugh's player stats and profile in the description below, along with his Twitter information. Keep an eye out for this guy, especially in CRL. I can't wait to see him and the rest of the guys play over there. Really excited for the league coming up in August. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner. Check out his information in the description below, along with on the community tab, a special bonus interview with Bren Chong. In case you missed it, check it out. He's an awesome guy, really unique individual who does a ton for the community. So guys, with that, thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.